Councilmember Anderson.
Here.
Councilmember Lauren.
Here.
Councilmember New.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Biazzi.
Here.
Mayor Cowan. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember New, would you like to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Certainly. Do we have a flag to put up or not?
I am getting it.
I'm also getting it. One of us will get it. There we go.
Okay. On the count of three. 1, 2, 3. I pledge
allegiance to the flag
of
the United States of America and to the republic
for
for
which
which it stands, one nation, under
Under
God,
God,
indivisible,
with
liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Next, we move on to approval of tonight's agenda. Any changes to the agenda?
Yes, thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I do have one change, please, and we have a couple clarifications that I think might be helpful if I went through them in this section. If everybody could mute themselves, and that way we won't have some of that feedback. There we go. Staff is requesting that we pull item 6G, that's the legislative update on SB 9 and 10. We would like to defer this item to a later agenda, either October 19th or November 2nd. That will allow staff to provide an update that's more specific to the city of Winters. The governor did sign these two bills into law last Friday after the packet was published. And so we have a new senior planner that is beginning on October 4th, and we'd like to be able to give him an opportunity to evaluate what the impacts are to Winters as a result of these two new bills being signed into law. So we'd like to pull that item from the consent calendar. I'd also like to provide a couple clarifications on item 6C of the consent calendar. We've benched an amended resolution 2021-59. We struck a recital indicating that we held a public hearing this evening, and that's a typo that was left over from a previous resolution. So we've amended resolution 2021-59. That's for item 6C. We did bench a memo that was referenced in the staff report for item 6B, the public works specifications. And this is a memo that is summarizing the changes that the city engineer and the public works superintendent made to the public works specifications. So that has also been posted on the city's website and provided to the city council. And I'd like to acknowledge that for item 6F, I believe we have City Attorney Iris Yang. She was intending to join us. I'm not quite sure if she has made it online, but this would be her last meeting with the City of Winters as City Attorney. And should council approve the resolution appointing Ethan Walsh, this would be our formal goodbye to Iris. And we also posted on the website and provided to the city council the PowerPoint presentation that the chair of the Senior Commission on Aging is going to provide to the city council. So it is available for public review should they want to take a look at that. And final one, we also provided an additional update on the Welcome Baby proposal that is before the city council tonight in terms of supporting or approving a letter of support for First 5 Yolo. And those are all the additions to the agenda packet. And I'm happy to answer any questions if you have them.
Yeah, thank you, City Manager Trepp. I just forgot to make one announcement at the beginning of the meeting, just for everybody at home. I want to make it clear for the record that this is a teleconference meeting. It's being conducted pursuant to the governor's executive order AN 2920, which is currently in effect. Similar to the last council meeting, any member of the public joining the meeting via Zoom and wishing to make a comment on an item may press the raise a hand button. If you're joining the meeting by phone, press the *9 to indicate a desire to make a comment. You'll be called by name or phone number when it's your turn to comment, and speakers will be limited to about 3 minutes. So we have any questions from the council on tonight's agenda with the changes mentioned?
Council, if there's a question, go ahead.
Okay, then I'll open it up for a motion then.
Council Member Lauren would like to move the item with changes stated by City Manager Treppa.
We have a motion. Councilmember New, it looks like you're seconding, but you're muted.
I would like to second that. Thank you.
Thank you. So we have a motion and a second. Are there any comments from the public on the consent calendar and the changes? Shelley, do we see anybody out there with their hand raised or signaling?
No, I do not.
Okay, thank you. So then we have a motion and a second. Can we have a roll call vote, please?
Yes, Councilmember Anderson,
Yes.
Councilmember Lauren,
Aye.
Councilmember New,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Biazi,
Aye.
Mayor Cowan, absent.
Okay, motion passes with 4 in favor and 1 absent. Okay, move on to the council staff comments. Councilmember Lauren, you're up first.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I attended the following meetings on behalf of the city: WRA and YSGA executive meeting, monthly California Cities Sac Valley Division board meeting, monthly YCTD regularly scheduled board meeting, WRA and YSGA, sorry, the Water Resource Agency, all water, board meeting, Yolo County Transportation District special board meeting to discuss suspending some routes due to lack of drivers from Transdev, and a meeting with the city manager to discuss tonight's agenda. I just wanted to add that Hispanic Advisory Committee has canceled the Festival de la Comunidad, which would be the weekend of the 25th this year due to the Delta variant, but in great celebration of our city and Hispanic Heritage Month, we've decorated the downtown for everyone to enjoy. Thank you.
Thank you. Up next, we have Councilmember Anderson.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. On my report on Wednesday, September 8th, by Zoom, I attended a Yolo Solano Air Quality Management District board meeting. Thursday, September 9th, by Zoom, attended the Lower Pewter Creek Coordinating Committee meeting. And on Monday, 9/20, which was another Zoom meeting I had yesterday with the city manager, Treppa, to review tonight's agenda for the city council meeting. That concludes
Okay,
my
thank you.
report.
Thank you very much. Okay, up next, we have Councilmember New.
Thank you. On September 8th, Wednesday, Yolo County Housing, we discussed condition of properties, physical condition of the properties and action to take. On Friday, the 10th, I met with the furnishings, fixtures and equipment group, and we had a speaker who gave us tips on fundraising. On the 16th, that's Thursday, and SACOG board meeting, and lots went on, but it's more than you want to hear probably. On the 17th, Friday, FFE, okay, the fixtures, furnishings and equipment development. We worked on developing a case statement and story and to go with the video for fundraising. On the 19th, Sunday, I met with Valerie Whitworth to discuss the Paseo Park. On the 20th, Yolo Habitat, the main item was funding of Lower Cache Creek Reserve Unit Management Plan and authorization permit for coverage for PG&E S648 and Buckeye Station upgrade. But what you might want to hear is also discussed with Valley Elderberry beetle mitigation And we adopted a resolution to reduce the fees for that by about, reduce them about 75%. And because they've come up with new ways to make it less expensive to do. Zoomed on the 21st with City Manager Trepa, and also emails. I fielded emails and calls about the swimming pool, the park, the city budgets, and that's about it.
Thank you. And for myself, on September 9th and 16th, I attended the city management staff meetings. On September 9th, I also attended the Solano Economic Development Corporation's meeting. On the 10th of September, I attended the Chamber Board meeting. Also on the 10th, I met with Valerie Whitworth to go over plans for the Paseo Park / Art Park. On the 13th, I attended the Bon Voyage for Dan McGuire, who's off to Italy now, and Councilmember New was there as well, and the city manager, and also to thank Dave Dowswell for his time with the city. He'll be with us for a short while longer, but we wanted to just get together and acknowledge what he's done. On the 20th, which was yesterday, I met with the city manager for the agenda review, and later that evening, we had a meeting of the newly formed Natural Resources Committee. They had some good discussion on things that they're gonna start working on in the future, and we'll be getting a presentation from them at an upcoming meeting. So thank you everyone for your time and effort spent on your committee assignments. We really appreciate it. It means a lot. Okay, we're going to move on now to the public comments. This is from anyone in the public who wants to speak to an item which is not listed on tonight's agenda. This is your chance. Either raise your hand using the raise your hand icon or wave at us somehow and let us know if you would like to speak to something that's not on the agenda. Shelley, do we have anyone out there?
I see no hands up.
Okay. Then we will move on to the consent calendar.
Yes, thank you. Let me open up my notes here. So on the consent calendar, we have a series of items. We have the regular minutes from the regular meeting of September 7th. We have resolution 2021-58 approving the City of Winter standard specifications. Resolution 2021-59 as amended, which is approving the final map for its final map number 4507 for the Winters Highlands Three Oaks Park and the establishment of the lot for well 8. Resolution number 2021-57 authorizing the purchase of a replacement vehicle for the Public Works Wastewater Division from Ron Duprat Ford. Total cost is $52,000, $578.38. And the next item is resolution 2021-60, which is awarding a construction contract and authorizing the city manager to execute a contract with W.M. Lyles Company for the wastewater treatment facility influence screening improvements project. This is phase 2, project number 20-01, in the total amount of $936,000. Authorizing the city manager to approve change orders in an aggregate amount not to exceed $93,600 and approving the updated project budget sheet for project number 20-01 phase 2. The next item is resolution 2021-61 approving the third amendment to the Bbnk legal services agreement. This would be appointing Ethan Walsh as our city attorney, replacing Iris Yang, who is retiring, and increasing the monthly retainer approximately $800 to $8,000 a month in order to provide legal services and legal support during planning commission meetings. G, we talked earlier about pulling that item on SB 9 and SB 10 that will be brought back. 6H is setting the public hearing date for the building and fire code adoption. We're moving that from October 5th to October 19th, 2021. And then the final item is the staff's draft response for council consideration to the grand jury final report related to the hawk, the beetle, and the budget, and evaluation of the approved Yolo Habitat Conservation Plan in its first 16 months. And those are the items on the consent calendar.
You can get to it through your agenda.
And somebody needs to mute. Let me see if I can figure out who that is.
Comments, but I wanted to sort of, I thought there was a way to indicate you wanted to give a verbal comment.
There we go.
There we go. Thank you. So thank you for that. That's a fairly long consent calendar tonight. So is there any questions from council? Seeing none, is there any comments or questions from the public out there? Shelley, anybody with their hand raised?
I have no raised hands.
Okay, then I will open it up for motion on the consent calendar.
New moves the agenda, the consent calendar as explained and amended by our city manager, Kathleen Treppa.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion by Councilmember New and a second by Councilmember Anderson. Shelley, could we have a roll call vote, please?
Councilmember Anderson,
Aye.
Councilmember Lauren,
Aye.
Councilmember New,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Biazzi,
Aye.
and Mayor Cowan is absent.
Motion passes 4 in favor with 1 absent. Thank you, everyone. And I would like to take just a quick moment to acknowledge Iris Yang's contributions to the city as our attorney. She's been helping the city for a long time, on and off in the background at Bbnk, and then moved into the position as a city attorney when Ethan Walsh was moved to another location. But she will be retiring at the end of this year, and want to wish her all the best in her retirement. I don't know if she made it on tonight's meeting or not, but Iris, thank you for all your help with the city and all the work that we've had. I really appreciate it. And I'd also like to welcome Ethan Walsh back to the city as our attorney. And we've got Joanna again as the associate attorney in the background as well. She's been helping us on a day-to-day basis. Thank you all. Okay, we're going to move on now to presentations. We have a Senior Commission on Aging presentation, which I believe will come from the chairperson of the Senior Commission on Aging, Glenn Ripley.
Yes, well, thank you very much. On behalf of the whole commission, we really appreciate the opportunity to give you an update on where we are and a little bit of preview on what we see in our future. I would just say as a new member on the commission, it's been a quick learning experience for me personally, but I've really appreciated the tremendous support, especially from our city manager, Kathleen Treppa. The communication's been wonderful. We just feel very much supported. And so we're excited about moving forward. The second slide is just a quick reminder of who's on the commission. And again, I would just want to express my appreciation to all of them for their patience with me as I get up to speed. We've got a great commission, and I guess that's kudos to the city council since you've named each one here. It's really, I think, represents broad perspectives and different backgrounds, and coming together. I think we've got a terrific team moving forward. We do have new officers in place as of this year. And so, but we're settling in quickly, and I'm looking forward to moving ahead. Slide 3 is just general comments. I think, the past year clearly has been a year of some transition, stabilization. Obviously, COVID has had a tremendous impact on everyone. As I mentioned, we've got new members, new officers, but I think we've got a renewed focus as of this point in terms of moving forward. And so we're feeling pretty good about where we are. We conducted a meeting on 31 August and kind of a reset team building assessment of where we are and beginning of goal setting. We did that in person downtown underneath one of the covered areas outdoors. And it was really, I think, a positive event. City manager was there to support us, and also a couple of members of the public from other senior groups. And so we had great representation of the senior community. And I think we came away from that with a great spirit and an expressed commitment for all the various senior groups to work together to do what's best for our community. We did review our charter and current status, and you'll see that in just a moment. I put here the third bullet. I think one of the things that is true of our commission is really an acute sense of responsibility because of COVID. And I just wanted to kind of state for the record, this has had tremendous impact on seniors in particular with the isolation. And so we really feel a responsibility to be in touch with the senior community and to kind of overcome the challenges that are still ongoing with the Delta variant in terms of how we can effectively do that. And then finally, just again, a strong team, I think, with a wealth of experience and ready to move forward. The next slide is just, again, a reminder for all of you of the charter that you gave us. And it's, I think it's well crafted. Our sense of kind of working through this is that it's appropriate and balanced. Obviously, item number 4 with the senior center kind of tends to dominate our thinking, and that's a tremendous milestone in the life of our community. And I know I speak for really all seniors in our community. Everyone is excited about this. I think uniformly, I've heard nothing but excitement building and anticipation, and folks are anxious for it to be done and online. And so that looms large, but I think it's important for us as a commission to look at the full breadth of what's on here, because there are certainly a number of items that need to be tracked, and we need to be prepared to make recommendations to the council on other matters other than just the senior center. And so, whether it's grants and proposals, just assessing unmet needs, generally speaking, within our community, looking at standards of service, and so forth. Item 8, recommending other types of programs, including but not limited to transportation, health, recreation. All of those things we see as very important. And so we're trying to embrace this entire charter in a kind of a balanced way. The next slide is, again, kind of going back to our 31 August meeting. And I just thought I would put this in here to give you a sense of how we're working together. And I certainly won't read all of this. It's a bit of an eye chart, but it'll be in your packet. I think everyone on the commission really immediately embraced these ideas. Everyone felt anxious to be inclusive. Item 5, valuing the perspectives of every member of our community and the perspective of each person on the commission. And so, all of that leads to item 8, and we really are committed to serve with excellence. We want to do that in a way that really honors the trust that's been put in us as commissioners to represent the senior community. The next couple of slides now, again, these are perhaps a little bit difficult to read, but I wanted to share them in this format because this is kind of how we're working. So we've got the charter to the left, and then in the boxes, kind of the comments. So this chart is the accomplishment, sort of looking back, and then you'll see a similar chart looking forward. And this year, again, I think we had some challenges with COVID and changing members. On the grant issue, we did not have any particular grants that we recommended or worked on, although we're really privileged to have Commissioner Whitworth, who has done grant work, and she did work with the city manager on a couple of grants. And so we're going to be actively watching this going forward. 2 and 3, I think we've had general learning and kind of understanding of where we are, but not a whole lot to report. I did mention on item 3, and this will lead to objectives going forward, kind of review this Yolo County Commission regarding evacuation preparedness and evacuation of older adults and persons with access and functional needs. So that's certainly on our radar, and it's a wonderful document. I don't know if you've reviewed it recently, but it gives a specific outline, very helpful outline of the things that local city commissions on aging should be looking at. And so we're going to take that to heart, and we look forward to working with Chief Lopez and Chief Miller and staying in alignment with the city, but perhaps making some progress in that area. Number 4, I think we are moving forward, and we have 2 subcommittees on our commission that are actively working. One looking at the programs that we would recommend for inclusion once the senior center is up and running. And then another ad hoc subcommittee that will be working probably in tandem with the FFE, Fixtures and Functional Equipment Committee, to identify the right equipment and make sure that we are able to procure the appropriate furniture, supplies, equipment, et cetera, for the senior center. So I think we're making progress there, and we'll continue working that. One of the highlights of the past year, looking back, is item 5, and Commissioner Loudon was real central on that. Commissioner Pierce as well helped us put together the Senior Resource Guide, which we're about ready to publish. And that is, I think, a document that will be of tremendous value to seniors in our community. And it will be published very soon in both English and Spanish. I attended a meeting of the Hispanic Advisory Committee, and Commissioner Loudon is a standing member on there as a liaison. And, you know, we recognize that a significant percentage, essentially half of the community, are part of the Hispanic community. And so we're very focused on making sure that as we go forward as a senior commission, we're balanced. And so we're excited that that will be published in Spanish as well. And I should give a shout out to City Manager Kathleen Trepa, that her mother helped us with the final editing and translation. And so that was a wonderful addition to our activities. But that was certainly a major achievement of the year. 7 and 8, not a lot to report, although there was a significant effort of research and discussion by Deborah Palmer, the former chairman, and Vice Chairman Loudon around the AARP Certified Age-Friendly Community opportunity. Ultimately, it was decided to defer that because of budget constraints in consultation with the city manager, but I think it was a great learning opportunity for us as a commission, and there may be things coming from that we can use going forward. So that's kind of the look back. And then the last slide is the same format, but looking forward. And I'm going to move my little bar here so I can read it here. Item 1, we will certainly continue to monitor grants and programs that may be appropriate. That's more of an ongoing item. Number 2, and I should remark, these are not formally adopted yet by the commission. These are kind of representative of the kinds of things we've circulated this and we're discussing, and probably in the next 30 to 60 days, we'll make formal adoption of our goals and objectives for the coming year. And then we would look forward to the opportunity to come back to you a year from now and report out on the specific goals and objectives that we've had and be measured against how we did. But number 2 is an example of kind of a proposal. We propose to perhaps present an annual report to the City Council, addressing the unmet needs. And so kind of spell it out and use metrics and say these are the highlights that we have identified as a commission that we would like to step forward. And then that would go in conjunction with other items where we would also probably propose solutions and steps forward to address those. But we think it's a good practice to go ahead and be kind of disciplined in saying identifying what the unmet needs are. And Sheila Allen from Yolo Commission and Yolo Healthy Aging has already done a report that has a lot of great information and kind of given us a baseline that we can start from. So we think we want to build on that and continue to document that going forward. Number 3, improve standards of service. You know, I'm a big advocate of measuring and metrics. You know, you can talk in generalities all day long, but if you really want to make substantive progress, it helps to have a set framework and a set of items that you're going to measure. And then we say, okay, these are the key measures, and this is where we see ourselves. And so in conjunction with number 2, unmet needs, it may be that we'll take on as an objective to develop a framework and metrics for assessing standards of service going forward. You can see both of these. I've put a target deadline or these would be a proposed completion date toward the end of July of next year. Number 4 is the ongoing work around senior center, and that one probably needs the least discussion. But we would like to work closely with city staff and not just kind of work around the edges, but perhaps develop a comprehensive operations manual so that as the center opens, we're ready to go and we've really thought through carefully all of the challenges that we'll face. 5 and 6, again, go back to our senior resource guide, and we're hoping to publish that here by the end of the year. I put a target date of 11/30, so I'm hoping by the end of November, we'll have that published and out into distribution. And, you know, it may be that this is something that we could publish every 2 years. So we would update it, put it on a regular schedule, and that would become part of the regular activity of the commission to monitor services and programs throughout the county and that are available to us here in Winters. Number 7 is really interesting, and it's really written in a very broad way. I mean, if you think about any bill that could affect senior citizens, that's almost every bill on every topic. And so in some ways it's a very broad charter and a little overwhelming, but our initial response to that is to begin developing a comprehensive legislative platform that we would hope to be able to bring back to you this year as a reflection of where we are in terms of the senior commission and our recommendation of how we would want to respond to proposed bills and legislation. And we would hope that would resonate with the city council and perhaps open the door to some discussions with other committees and groups on other things, because and just give you a little bit of a heads up and warning, it includes positions on things like agriculture or natural resources or climate, because all of those things affect seniors. And if you think about food security or the impact of wildfires on evacuating seniors or those that perhaps have some challenges. So we're working on that. Commissioner Pierce has taken the lead and done a tremendous job already in putting together a draft, and we'll be looking at that here in the near future, trying to have that ready before the next legislative cycle. And then number 8, again, you know, I'm a believer in trying to make measurable and concrete things. So my proposal back to the commission is that we take on at least 3 concrete recommendations and come back to you. And that gives us a measurable kind of finite objective that we would hope to be able to bring back to you. Again, kind of on this mid-year calendar date, so that a year from now, we would be able to come back to you and report on what we've accomplished. So that's all I have. I would just conclude by thanking again all the members of the commission for their hard work and the opportunity to work together, and we're changing and growing, but I'm excited about what's ahead and the progress we're going to make. So with that, turn it back over to you, Mayor Pro Tem, and if there's any questions, be happy to try to field those or answer.
Great. Thank you, Glenn. That was a very well put together presentation that I think you covered a lot of things that were in the charter for the Senior Commission on Aging. So at this point, I will open it up to council members first and see if there's any comments, questions on the presentation, maybe some suggestions on things that you might want them to work on in the coming year. Council members, Councilmember Lauren.
All right. Well, first I want to say thank you for the presentation, Chair Ripley. It's great to see you in that role. And congratulations to all the members, the new members, and the standing members that have worked on this document. It's a great presentation, and I'm very happy to see it. I'm not sure if you know, and I feel like a real old person saying this. You know, it was only, I think, 3 years ago that Pierre and I and Tina and a bunch of, I think Valerie worked on trying to bring, you know, a senior commission to the city of Winters and doing the background group work. So this is amazing to see your work. And I don't have any suggestion of what I would want you to work on, because I think you guys are doing a great job on the values that you have. I do want to say that the commitment to one another is outstanding. And I think all of the organizations in town could learn from that. So kudos to you all. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Councilmember New, looks like you have your hand up.
I did. There's not much more to say than what Jessie just said, and she's covered it very well. I was just going to thank you for your service and a very well prepared presentation, and I look forward to seeing the commission as it goes forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Anderson, any questions, comments?
Well, I have no doubt that we'll be hearing a lot more from the Senior Commission based on the outline we'll receive tonight. And wish them well.
Okay. Yes, and I would echo everything that the other council members have said already. I think this is a great group of people on this commission working together on these goals that, you know, these are things that we have talked about for several years. And I know this is a newly formed commission, fairly newly formed, and we have a couple other commissions that we've formed recently at the city, and we're going to be asking the same type of questions and presentations from them. So I think you've really set the stage well for what we want to see at the city from the commissions that we've formed, and saying, you know, here's kind of what we were charged with, here's what we've done so far, and here's what we have in the upcoming year. I really don't see a whole lot of things to add to what you have outlined. I think you've covered it very thoroughly. Really appreciate all your time and efforts that the whole committee has put into this. The enthusiasm that the Senior Commission on Aging has put into this is great. The only one thing that I could think, and you're probably working on it, is to look for any potential grant opportunities for, especially for the furniture, fixtures, and equipment fund that we will have for the senior center once we finally do get started on the construction of that. Hit a few snags. We were hoping to be building by now, but it will be in the near future. So
Thank you.
on that, I will open it up to, if there's no more from council, I will ask for any comments from the public. And I see Tina Loudon has her hand raised. Ms. Loudon.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Tina Loud, 320 Neiman Street. Glenn, wonderful, wonderful presentation. I would just like to add that I cannot wait for the senior resource guide to be in our hands. We're hopefully going to publish 400 of them. And I just want to do a kudos out there for the Hispanic Advisory Council and the Winter Senior Foundation for their financial help. I think this is a wonderful one-time, and I think we're going to have to come to the city later on if we want hard copies. But thank you again, Glenn, and thank you, everybody, and especially all the commissioners.
Thank you, Tina. I also see Kate Laddish, you have your hand up. Kate, you're muted. There you go. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Biasi. And Kate Laddish, 400 Morgan Street, number 21. And I'd like to start by thanking Chair Glenn Ripley for a tremendous presentation and all of the commissioners for their good and ongoing work. And my comments this evening are informed by being chair of the Yolo County In-Home Supportive Services Advisory Committee and on the County Aging Commission's Emergency Preparedness Subcommittee that worked on the emergency prep recommendations that Chair Ripley mentioned. And from that perspective, I want to say it makes a real difference to have a city senior commission and to have a commission that's as vibrant as this one is and one that takes on real projects that able to identify something and what needs to be done, what the problem is, what needs to be done, how to go about it, and then actually have some deliverables. And so just from that perspective, thank you. It makes a real difference for people who are seniors and people who hope to become seniors at some point. And so also with those bodies, if both IHSS and the Senior Commission continue to work on emergency preparedness and evacuation planning for older adults and people with disabilities. So if we can be resources and team up, great. But I certainly don't need to get in the way of the good work that you're doing. And so I look forward to hearing more. And thank you again for all of the good and ongoing work you're doing for our community.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kate. Do we have anybody else out there with their hand raised would like to comment on this?
I see no other. Oh, Valerie Whitworth has her hand up.
Okay, Valerie, go ahead.
Sorry, I couldn't get off mute. I just wanted to say how nice it is that Glenn has taken such a wonderful active leadership role. And I really am impressed by the work that we've already done. When we met for the goal setting, we had all the senior groups represented. And that was a goal that I think certainly I had been heading for. And I think many of us had wanted for several years. So I feel that we're really in a place to move all these projects forward. I worked with Sheila Allen on her commission, and it was a wonderful experience. And I see now that that work will be continuing very detailed and pointedly toward the city of Winters. And I think that's a marvelous thing. So thank you very much for all of your support. And thank you, Glenn, for such a marvelous presentation.
Okay, any more comments from the public?
I see no other hands at this time.
Okay, well, thank you again to everyone on the commission for all your work on this. We look forward to hearing your report coming up in another year and what you've got accomplished so far. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Okay, now we will move on to our discussion items. We have one discussion item tonight, which is the first 5 Yolo Welcome Baby Program Letter of Support. I would ask the city manager Treppa to introduce this for us, please.
Yes, thank you very much. So this is an item to consider a letter of support for First 5 Yolo's proposed Welcome Baby program. They've applied for County American Rescue Plan funding to launch this new program. And I would like to turn over this presentation to Gina Delidin, and I apologize if I didn't pronounce your last name correctly. I believe there she is. She's here joining us this evening, and she can provide a little bit more information about the program that's being proposed for county funding.
Sure, thank you. Well, good evening, council members, city manager Treppa. First Five Yolo was formed by state Proposition 10 over 20 years ago. And local county First Five children and family commissions are statutorily charged with improving the systems serving children 0 to 5 and their families, and helping our local communities to raise children who are healthy, safe, and ready to learn. I'm joined tonight by your local commissioner, Sally Brown, and just want to acknowledge that she's here as well. The pandemic, as you likely know, has been devastating to an already underfunded early childhood system, and the current conditions are not sustainable for the future of our county. Children and families do need our help now more than ever, as the pandemic continues to disproportionately affect them. We at First Five and our partners countywide are seeing some alarming trends in our local, state, and national data, showing the dire need for greater support of families and children. And we hear this echoed in the programs that First Five designs and supports. You see some of the data incorporated in your letter that Councilmember Lauren graciously put together, and I won't repeat all of that. But to say that when we see an increase in low birth weight births and extremely high risk pregnancies, both medically and socially high risk, and 2 in 3 pregnant women clinically depressed, that's of immense concern for the effect on the child. Excuse me, on the child. I've been talking all day, so you're going to have to push through with my voice. In consultation with researchers and experts, similar program models, our partners, First Five Yolo presented the Welcome Baby ARP proposal to begin as immediately as possible to address the declines that we're seeing. I want to share a couple of updates to the original proposal that you have in your packet. And that is that working with our county colleagues, particularly at Health and Human Services, we have decided to begin with a focus on Medi-Cal families, our most vulnerable, and adding more accessibility to intensive services that they may need. So sort of narrowing the focus slightly at the beginning, and yet going deeper on the services that would be offered. So the first nurse home visit would happen approximately 1 to 2 weeks after delivery for all Medi-Cal births, of course, to those who consent. And then a clinical assessment and triage would be done by the nurse, and then followed by 1 to 2 community health worker visits and more intensive services as appropriate. There is no more transformative investment than to lift the life trajectory of a child. First Five Yolo is ready to work with you to turn the curve for children and families most in need. I'm really happy to respond to any questions, and I'm incredibly grateful that your council has chosen to discuss this issue tonight.
Great, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I think Councilmember Lauren and Mayor Cowan have both worked on bringing this forward to us. Councilmember Lauren, do you have some comments?
Yeah, I thank you so much. I want to say Mayor Biasi, but Mayor Pro Tem. There's so many times in the past that we have come together to write a letter in support of social issues, of finance issues, of safety issues. And right now there's money available through ARP that can go to a variety of sources. And the mayor and I felt that it was really something that winners should get behind, supporting families and babies and the future of Yolo County through First Five and the Welcome Baby program. And so what we are asking for is a letter of support from council saying, please, county supervisors, as you consider how to allocate resources, please see this as something that you will fully support.
Thank you. Other questions or comments from council members? Okay, I would just also like to echo what Councilmember Lauren said, and I think it sounds like a really good program to help those mothers and newborns. And I know that you've put in for a request for money for the ARP funds through the county, And I wholeheartedly put my support behind that. I think that would be a great use of those funds. So happy to support your letter. Are there any comments or questions from the public on this item? I don't see any hands raised. Shelley, do you see any out there? Any comments?
I do not see any raised hands.
Okay. Do we need a motion on this, or let's find my agenda.
I would be happy to make a motion to have a letter by council written to the Board of Supervisors for Yolo County in support of the program of Welcome Baby from First Five.
Okay, we have a motion from Councilmember Lauren. Do we have a second?
Councilmember New will second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. If there's no more discussion, I will ask for a roll call vote.
Councilmember Anderson,
Sir, you're muted.
Harold, you're muted.
Say it again. Aye.
Councilmember Lauren,
Aye.
Councilmember New,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Biazzi,
Aye.
and Mayor Cowan is absent.
Okay, so the motion passes with 4 in favor and 1 absent. Great. You'll be getting a letter of support from the City of Winters City Council. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, that was our only discussion item tonight. We'll move on now to the city manager's report.
Yes, thank you very much, Mayor Pro Tem Biasi. I don't have any updates for the council or the public, but we will have that letter, which is drafted and part of the packet, available for signature tomorrow. If you all would like to swing by City Hall at your convenience to sign the letter, and then we'll get it off to the county.
Thank you. So if there are no more comments, I will formally adjourn the meeting at 7:22. Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening.
Thank you very much. Have a nice evening.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.